Sarah Gorrell. And our top story this afternoon, Lewis MP Maria Caulfield is calling for the army to get involved, driving buses to ease the impact on passengers caught up in the rail strike. Passengers are facing major disruption this evening because of industrial action by unions representing staff on Southern Rail. Conductors in the RMT union are on a 3-day strike that started at midnight. The dispute is over the introduction of driver-only operated trains. The drivers' union ASLEF has also begun a ban on overtime. Now, Assistant General Secretary Simon Weller, himself a former train driver, rejects claims that the unions are causing misery.
I was a professional railwayman for, as I say, over 20 years. I was a train driver. I was really proud of the job. I am really proud of Britain's railways. And I want a decent service, and I want that railway to work. I've been through the lows and the highs of the railway. I know it sounds a bit hyperbolic, but what we're delivering at the moment, especially on Southern, is just ridiculous.
Well, Lewis MP Maria Caulfield joins me on the line now. Maria, thank you for joining us this afternoon. One of your major concerns is that this disproportionately hits your constituency.
Absolutely, and of course we've got the RMT strikes on at the moment, and we have a bus replacement service between Seaford and Newhaven to Lewis, which is far from ideal, but it actually gets worse next week. When the ASLEF strikes start next week, there are going to be no trains at all throughout the constituency and no bus replacement service. So, train stations like Lewis, Polegate, Plumpton, Wivelsfield are going to be completely without any trains, and I just don't know how people are going to cope with that at all.
It is astonishing that this has got to this point. Is it not time for your government to step in?
Yes, absolutely, and that's a point I made very clear to the Rail Minister yesterday when Caroline Lucas, the MP for Brighton Pavilion, raised an urgent question. I said that the government's response is not good enough. They need to intervene because this is, not just, a bad day for people. This is destroying lives. People are losing their jobs, they're losing their families. This is just cannot continue. And the government, although it's not their dispute, it is a dispute between Southern and the unions, they have a responsibility to ensure people can at least get to work. And I, urge them once again to step in and sort this out.
How about the idea that you came up with of easing the impact by getting buses on our roads?
Well, absolutely, and this is something that Southern have completely turned down, and they say that there will be Thameslink train services and the Gatwick Express from places like Brighton, but that's no good to my residents if they can't actually get to Brighton in the first place. It's not acceptable for 9 days to have no rail service whatsoever, and we need a bus replacement service at the absolute minimum.
Well, let's just give you their response, what they told us. They said, we're advising on those days when ASLEF drivers are on strike, we won't run any Southern service at all. We're advising passengers not to attempt to travel. And they go on to say, buses aren't a solution on these days. We simply can't source the number we need to carry the number of people who travel with us. And whatever we did try to run would be inundated, prompting very real safety concerns.
I mean, that's just not a good enough solution. I mean, if they can't run a bus replacement service, then they need to get back round the table and sort this dispute out once and for all. 9 days in the next out of the next 14 to have no train service whatsoever is absolutely unacceptable. And we had a meeting with Chris Grayling this morning, and I made that point very clear to him. There is going to be a court case over how legally they're going to legally challenge the ASLEF strike, and the result of that should be tomorrow. And the Secretary of State wouldn't give a commitment about bus replacements until we know the outcome of that court case. But this, it's just not good enough. How are people supposed to get to work when there's no train service whatsoever?
This issue must take up a disproportionate amount of your time.
Absolutely. I literally have done nothing else for the last few weeks other than lobby. I've lobbied the Prime Minister at Prime Minister's question. I lobby the Secretary of State and the Rail Minister every single day. I have been talking to the unions today and to Southern to say, if the government won't intervene, can I ask both of you to get round the table, go back to ACAS and sort out your differences and get these rail services back on track? And to be fair, both Southern and the unions have said they would contemplate, going back to ACAS to try and sort this out. Now, if I can do that as a backbench MP, why can't the government?
It does seem to be so many people have been, like you, desperately trying to get a solution to this. So Brighton and Hove Albion have offered their stadium as a venue for this to be discussed after the impact on their fans. We have local councils have been getting involved. involved all our MPs. Why is it that nobody seems to be listening?
Well, I think, there is, I mean, I'm not even really sure what the dispute is about now, because originally it was about the role of the conductor, the second person on the train. Now, all bar one of those conductors have signed a new contract for the onboard supervisor, guaranteeing their job, guaranteeing their pay, guaranteeing their conditions, and that starts in January. So, as everyone's agreed to go onto that contract and take on that new role, I really don't understand what this dispute is about now. And that's the crux of the matter. It seems to become politically motivated on all sides, and the people suffering are those poor passengers, I'm a passenger too, who are stuck in the middle.
They have agreed to the new contracts, as you say, but it was they didn't really have any option, did they? And what they're saying is they just want that guarantee that there will be two people on the trains at all time. Is that too much to ask for?
No, and that guarantee has been given. I've sat in the Transport Select Committee when both Southern, and it's in the contract, this new contract says that they will be a second person on that train at all times, but also the government has said if when that franchise ends, and that can't come soon enough for me, when a new franchise is started, that second person will be guaranteed in any new franchise.
I suppose the key is, though, Maria, is yes, they say that in ideal circumstances they will have two people on the train, but they don't give a guarantee. They say that, potentially and on occasions the train will have to run with just one.
I think that's in extreme cases, but if you look where DOO, which is the driver-operated system, where the driver operates the doors, which is running in a third of the country already, there's a second person on all those trains. So, there's no evidence to suggest that this is a way of getting rid of the second person. And yes, that is the crux of the problem. The unions don't trust the second person, even though there's a contract and a guarantee, they just don't trust that. And, that's how do you solve that problem if they don't trust that guarantee?
Maria, thank you for joining us on the programme. Maria Caulfield, the MP for Lewes there.